In a tranquil town, blanketed by the soft mist of dawn, where stories and secrets silently intertwine amidst cobblestone streets and houses with old facades, the lives of Marco and Livia continued their course, seemingly immune to the storms that transform hearts and destinies. Marco, a man of keen sensitivity and a restless soul, found himself at the crossroads of his 35 years, an age brimming with promises and expectations. Livia, on the other hand, with her serene beauty and a smile that illuminated even the darkest days, was the companion he had chosen to share the chapters of his life. To those who knew them, their marriage was a portrait of harmony and happiness. They shared laughter, dreams, and the comfort of routine, weaving together the threads of a future they believed to be solid and promising. However, as in all human stories, beneath the serene surface of appearances, hidden currents of desires, fears, and secrets flowed, ready to emerge and alter the course of their lives in an irrevocable manner. At the peak of his 35 years, an age many consider a milestone of maturity and stability, Marco found himself facing a revelation that shook the foundations of his world. It was a mundane Thursday afternoon, one of those where time seems to drag on with almost tangible indifference, when destiny decided to alter the course of his life irrevocably. Livia's cell phone, his wife's, lay forgotten on the coffee table, an object so banal and everyday that, at that moment, it transformed into the epicenter of an imminent storm. When the screen suddenly lit up, revealing a message not intended for Marco's eyes, he was drawn by a force he couldn't resist. The message, a mix of words laden with intimacy and promises, was from someone he not only knew, but considered a friend. A double betrayal intertwined so intricately that it seemed impossible to unravel where one ended and the other began. In the weeks following this unexpected discovery, Marco found himself in a state of constant vigilance, a silent observer in his own life. Each day, he gathered pieces of a painful puzzle, each fragment revealing more of the betrayal surrounding him. But instead of letting the pain consume him, he channeled this energy into a more calculated purpose. Marco didn't choose the path of direct confrontation, a choice many would make when betrayed. Instead, he opted for a more subtle yet infinitely more devastating approach. He began plotting a revenge that would be, essentially, his magnum opus, a plan so meticulously orchestrated that fate itself seemed to have had a hand in its conception. This wouldn't be a vengeance fueled by momentary anger or the desire for violence. It was something much deeper and elaborate, a revenge that would require patience, intelligence, and above all, an intimate understanding of the human heart and its weaknesses. Marco was determined to use life's own tapestry, with its twists and ironies, to weave an ending Livia could never foresee, one where justice would be served not through chaos, but through an orchestration so perfect it would seem the work of chance. Amidst the emotional storm unleashed by the discovery of betrayal, Marco found an unexpected refuge in an old, almost forgotten desire that now resurfaced with palpable urgency: writing. The idea of writing a book, once a distant dream nurtured by sporadic moments of inspiration and aspiration, became the central focus of his existence. However, this project was far from being a mere work of uncommitted fiction. Marco saw in it the opportunity not only to channel his pain and betrayal into something tangible, but also to create a mirror of the world that had so brutally disillusioned him. He immersed himself in the creation of a captivating narrative in which the protagonist, a victim of devastating betrayal, ventured through twisted paths of self-discovery and revenge. Marco's fictional universe was marked by relentless poetic justice. Once betrayal was committed, it was unveiled to the world, covering the traitor with a cloak of shame and public contempt. During the writing process, Marco lived and breathed his creation, dedicating every spare moment to the meticulous crafting of the plot and characters. He promoted the work as a fictional study on injustice and betrayal, a literary analysis of the complex dynamics of love, loss, and redemption. Although deeply personal, Marco never let on the direct connection of his narrative to the events of his own life. When the book was finally released, the response was overwhelming. Marco's story resonated in the hearts of readers and critics alike, who saw in the work not only an enthralling tale, but also a treatise on the human condition, instantly elevating him to the status of a literary star. The acclaim was unanimous, and Marco, once a man consumed by his own pain, was now celebrated as a visionary of contemporary literature. Meanwhile, Livia remained on the sidelines of this storm of success, proud yet incredibly oblivious to the true origin of the work that catapulted her husband to stardom. Her perception of reality began to shatter when Marco chose the stage of a meticulously planned national interview to unveil the inspiration behind his acclaimed story. With a heavy heart but clear resolution, he shared with the world the source of his pain, describing in detail how every element of betrayal, every fragment of suffering, and every sigh of despair permeating the pages of his book were direct reflections of his experience with Livia. This revelation was not just a personal catharsis for Marco, but a turning point in Livia's public perception, as she suddenly found herself at the center of a narrative vastly different from the one she had proudly shared. The revelation Marco made to the world in that interview that captured the attention of an entire nation had catastrophic effects on Livia. Overnight, her image radically transformed. She ceased to be recognized as the partner of a successful author and became the symbol of a painful betrayal, the treacherous muse behind a work that exposed the open wound of the human heart. Society, which once viewed her in a kind light, now cast shadows of judgment and disdain. Friends who shared laughter and confidences withdrew, as if proximity to her could tarnish their own reputations. The structures of her social world crumbled, leaving her isolated in a desert of scrutiny and shame. The weight of regret Livia carried became almost unbearable as she realized that the consequences of her actions had gone far beyond what she could have imagined. The desire to turn back time and change her choices consumed her, but the public nature of her humiliation marked her deeply, creating scars that no amount of time or apology could fully erase. On the other hand, Marco found himself in a complex moral and emotional dilemma. Despite the deafening applause and the success many only dream of, the satisfaction he expected from revenge never arrived. He had imagined that exposing Livia's betrayal would bring some kind of relief or contentment, a sense of justice finally achieved. However, what he found was a very different reality. Livia's visible pain, now apparent to everyone, did not bring him peace. Instead, it only underscored the depth of the loss they both had suffered. The glory that accompanied his literary success was somehow tainted by the awareness that his masterpiece had been born out of personal tragedy, a story that, in the end, had no winners. In this tortuous journey, Marco confronted an uncomfortable truth that resonated far beyond the pages of his book. The pursuit of revenge, a path he had trodden in the hope of finding justice and closure, led him to a place of dark reflection and questioning. He realized that the justice he so desired had transformed into a kind of torment, a shadow that would always accompany him, tinging his memories and the story he had written with a hue of profound sadness. The bitter lesson he learned was that sometimes the price of revenge transcends the momentary satisfaction of retribution. It may indeed cost one's own soul, leaving eternal scars not only on those we seek to punish, but also on ourselves, turning victory into an irreparable loss. As our story draws to a close, we reflect on the intense and emotional journey experienced by Marco and Livia, delving into the depths of betrayal, traversing the valley of regret, and perhaps unexpectedly emerging in fields of understanding and forgiveness. This narrative, interwoven with the complex threads of human emotions and life choices, invites us to examine our own experiences, challenges, and innate capacity for resilience. Now, we extend this reflection to you, our valued audience. If this story touched your heart, sparked thoughts, or simply offered a moment of escape, we invite you to more actively join our community. By subscribing to the channel, you not only support us, but also ensure that you won't miss out on future stories that may enlighten, entertain, and inspire. But we don't want the conversation to end here. Your opinion is crucial to us. It enriches our work and the community we're building together. In the comments below, please share with us. What did you think of Marco and Livia's story? Are there aspects that particularly resonated with you or lessons you'll carry forward? Perhaps you have ideas on how you would have written the ending differently. Your engagement helps us grow and shape our content in ways that truly resonate with our audience. So please leave a like if you enjoyed what you saw, subscribe for more content, and don't hesitate to leave your mark in the comments. Together, we'll continue exploring the many dimensions of life, love, and human relationships that bind us all.